Ma'am?
Hi, I'm Jan Goldsmith. I'm with Chronic Moskowitz, Tiedemann, and Girard, and I represent Placer County Water Agency. And my issues are very similar, so I won't go over them a great deal, except to say that there is no other water available to meet Placer County Water Agency's residents and businesses than water that goes to the Delta if we didn't use it. The agency works very hard on conservation. It is on track to meet the 20 by 2020 goal, but to put a cap on the amount of water that it can use is to say that there can be no further growth in that county of either population or economy. And that, in recent years, was one of the fastest growing residential populations in the state. Now, not since 2009, but, you know. So my take on it is really delving into the wording. If the word in WRP1 proposed really means covered and the measurement stays in there, then that probably does not apply to actions of Placer County Water Agency in water use and management. But WRR4, which basically says that it's a recommendation, but still your recommendations are very persuasive. And it says water suppliers that receive water from the Delta watershed have this duty to have an expanded water supply reliability, and that says that they should document achievement of a reduction in net water use or in percentage of water used from the Delta watershed. My solution to that dilemma that upstream watershed users are placed in is either to take out the word watershed and say water suppliers that receive water from the Delta shall do all this stuff, or take out the metric. The metric would stay in the policy, which applies to covered actions, but it would not stay in the recommendation. So that's my suggestion. It's a major issue, and I'm glad to see that you all are struggling with it. I have two other points. One is that, and it's in my letter, so look at Placer County Water Agency's comment letter. There is a suggestion on page 95, lines 14 to 17, that the failure to meet a 20 by 2020 target goal equates to unreasonable use or waste of water. Now, the statute does not say that. What it does say is that actions cannot be brought before 2021 for violation of the law, but that's not the same thing as saying that it's a waste of water. In fact, there is absolutely no moratorium in place currently on actions against any water user or agency in the state for waste of water. So I suggest you take out lines 14 to 17. The recommendation that the State Water Resources Control Board should look at reasonable use would remain, but the implication of a standard for waste and unreasonable use that is not consistent with the statute would be removed. Finally, I have watched over the months and actually years as the statement that appropriated water is 8 times the supply has been refined. And I think it has tended to become more realistic. I'm very glad to see that non-consumptive water use has been recognized in the draft. But I think that your over-appropriation statements on page 76 and 77 are still overbroad and overstate the magnitude of a problem which I think the text admits we don't know the scope of. And that is because while the text now says that the face value is frequently not, I forget what the word is, frequently not exercised, The fact is that it's usually not exercised. And the reason is that the face value includes the total capacity of the reservoirs of the state. Now, those reservoirs are not emptied every year. In fact, the reason they're built the size they are is so that there is carryover water. Placer County Water Agency's reservoirs, for example, have a capacity of 350,000 acre-feet, more or less. Of that, they consumptively have the right to use 120,000. So I think that a recognition in the text, and I'd be happy to provide some suggested language to your staff, that would recognize the limitation on water use that occurs due to the unavailability of storage space due to carryover water being in the reservoir would be a positive inclusion in the text.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.